Cool.
Fantastic. Welcome. Well, let's come up with that. So 7 p.m. It is 7 p.m. on Thursday today. That's correct.
Yep.
Perfect. It is, what is it? Thursday, the 19th of November, John.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday, halfway through lockdown 2 somewhere.
Lockdown 2.0. Lockdown 2.0. Yeah. That's a subject that we should talk about, but maybe not so now at the time. So welcome, Willkommen, John, Anthony here. We are here tonight to talk about two new, very exciting live streams and networking events that we are doing to move forward. So what we'll do is tonight we are just planning on doing a very short.
Yes,
I'll say that tomorrow. I like it when I smile with my mustache.
Do you know, in that shirt with that moustache, it's like a time warp into the 1970s, I tell you.
Yeah. My Ferrari parked out front as well.
Yeah, that one.
I drive it to the helicopter, which is great. So why are we here? What are we doing and who we are? Well, I will let the esteemed John Fuggles talk about himself to start off with. So, John, please, who are you and why are you here?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm here because we want to talk about SeedCast. So we'll get on to what that is in a minute. But you and I met a while ago in central London at some point, talking about your business, talking about my business, talking about what you was doing. And what I do is I'm a business consultant. I advise companies on how to grow, which is very different to what you do. But the reality was there was a lot of stuff we talked about that we either were doing that was very similar in the way we do things or was fundamentally different, which is also interesting. And it was just good to start, discussing ideas with you and however many years later, here we still are. Gosh.
Yeah, fantastic. And you know what? It is interesting because, I look back quite fondly at the time that we spent and the time that we, when I was at my last company and we were in WeWork and you came to me and your lovely wife passed you over to me and passed you over. We just sat. I remember drinking really bad coffee in WeWork and talked about. And I remember meeting you for the first time, and I just thought, you know what, you're looking to do, in enterprise sales in that environment. You're way better as a consultant. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, to think that those things, those catalysts. And I remember the day that we had that conversation.
Well, I remember the coffee. It was dreadful. But, it's interesting because you're right. Sometimes you need someone else to hold a mirror up to you to see what it really is. You can talk yourself in and out of ideas and what you think you're good at. But, you need someone else to go, have you looked at this? Have you thought of that? And that's how the conversation started. The business is growing. It's fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying doing what I'm doing. Which is kind of cool. It's always worth getting out of bed in the morning and love what you do. And here we are, later, and you and I are talking about another new venture. So we should talk about why you left your last company and what you're doing now as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just introduce myself for the people that don't know me. And if you are watching this across any of our platforms, and it might be an idea just to have a quick look. Bear with me. This is awesome viewing. This is. And we can see, things happening right now. Pre-flight checks with the JB. Cool. Okay, fantastic. So who am I? I'm Anthony Baker. I'm a recruiter. I work for a company called Lysis. We are a large financial services consultancy. I run the recruitment business, which is Lysis Recruits. As you probably see me from the Daily Bake and a few things that I do, I don't mind getting myself out there. It is all marketing, it's all advertising, it is promotion. But at the end of the day, I find people jobs in companies. And that is what we do for a business, what I do for business. I find different ways of helping people in different ways. And you don't always make a fee off everyone. Yourself, for instance, you came to me and I sort of did myself out of a job a little bit.
Well, I was going to ask, you find people jobs and actually you didn't find me a job. You said, no, you should go and work for yourself. Is there something I should know?
Yeah. Well, we're here now, aren't we? So I'm going to capitalize out of it now. So, and I think what's interesting is how did we get here? Not necessarily why, because we'll get to that, but how. How did we go? How are we sat here doing a live stream on a Thursday evening at 7:00? You've had your minted lamb. I've had a salad. You've picked your the pieces for your food out of your garden, hand reared from your.
So how do we start? So this all started, if you remember, you and I. We have regular kind of catch-up calls. What are you working on? What am I working on? And a bit of kind of supporting of each other, working on ideas. And if you remember, we always kind of got into other conversations, right? What was going on in the media, the news, what was happening in the world, but also, what was bugging us at work. I don't mean in terms of, people and all that stuff. I mean,
I don't think we've got enough time to discuss
But we used to do that as a regular thing, and then you said, this is actually good viewing. I'm not sure, but you actually said this is good viewing.
Is this good viewing? Please, if this is good viewing, comment. For Christ's sake, someone comment. Someone leave a comment.
But you said we should just do this live, because actually, the banter aside, there was a lot of good stuff that we talked about in terms of, business development, in terms of career development, in terms of personal development, all that kind of stuff. You said, we should either start writing some of this down or do something with it. I think is what you said, something like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think what's interesting is that you and I have gone on this step on. We're on this journey. We're on this path. We're on this plan. We've all got ideas about what we want to do and how we want to get there. And I think what was interesting about it, there was no money exchange. It was just a. Sometimes I would talk for half an hour on a call, and then sometimes you would talk, and sometimes we would jointly talk. And I think with is that someone liking us? And I think with that, we it was interesting because we kind of have got the same idea. We got the idea of what we want to get to is the same, but the way we're going to get there is slightly different. I think it's interesting. And I think because of that, it offers that, well, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to talk and create different ideas and so on and so forth. And you're going to go, right, this is the smooth way to get there, the easy way. And we'll always end up at the same location. Mm-hmm. It would just be traversed in a very, very different way. And I think, I've been doing networking events for many, many years in London, and they've been successful or unsuccessful. And the first ever networking event I did, there was one person, two people. A lady who worked for a bank, a fintech bank, or new fintech, and a guy who was a head of compliance at another bank just left. Three of us sat around this massive table that I'd booked in the Has on Bishopsgate, and I'd spent 30 quid on coffees. We had coffees and cakes and stuff, and three of us sat there, and here we go. Himanshu, hey buddy. Oh, amazing. So we'll come back to that in a second. But then we sat there and we chatted away, and it was not about me being a recruiter. It's about me trying to gain experience in understanding financial services better, understanding compliance, and getting to know people so I can network better in my career and job and so on and move forward. And amazingly, those two passed details and they gave him a job, and that was my first ever.
And you're still in touch with them, I guess, right? But
I'm still in touch with them. Yeah, exactly.
But that's interesting, networking. I mean, we need to talk about that as well. Networking events, and maybe we'll pick that up in a bit because I've been to some great networking events. I've been to some dreadful networking events, and there was a guy on a call a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, and he said, he's doing loads more networking events. But actually, when you challenged him, his sales performance has dropped. So, but he thinks he's better at networking. I said, well, clearly you're not. But we shouldn't talk about that.
Let's come back to networking, right? So let's talk about that in a second when we talk about the other thing that we're going to do, which is actually going to be on a Thursday night. So let's there's somebody actually I spoke to today, and I'll tell you what's really interesting about my job is I speak to so many different people during the day, and so. Some things are positive, some things are negative. People get annoyed sometimes because we're not dynamically quick. I get 300 touch points a day with people. Don't always get the opportunity to get back to them. But I did speak to a guy today, Himanshu. He's on there, and what was super interesting about it, and it's not necessarily a subject we want to talk about tonight, but maybe we'll get him on in the future. Himanshu Rastogi, he's an Indian chap. He has got an unbelievably posh English accent. He sounds amazing. And what was really interesting about it is we had a really, really sort of great conversation because the way that he had gone about to get me to help him was exactly how people should go about it. And I think, that's kind of what we want to get from this SeedCast, and he's just posted on there, like bouncing ideas backwards and forwards, because it really is, and that's a really good thing to say, Manchu, and thank you very much for that, because it really is very much, and you and I were miles away from this conversation 3 months ago, but here we are now, because we consistently spent the time. Sometimes it wasn't quite at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning because your clock's always slightly wrong, and sometimes I just didn't even turn up. But but ultimately we started off not knowing anything, didn't we? We started off just going, let's just have a conversation and see how we get on.
Yeah, and there would be, I would talk to you about, a conversation I'm having with a potential client and can't get them to see it this way or understand that way, and it was just good to talk about the personal human aspect of it, whereas I'm focused on the business. So it was quite an interest. They're always good conversations, But yeah, just seeing what Himanshu said. He said, was it holding the mirror up someone definitely helps with personal development, which I think, that's it's a difficult thing to do, just to do that, just to relay back to someone what they are missing, right? What they see and what they are missing. It's a skill. It's an art.
You know what? I'll tell you what's interesting about that comment is telling somebody what you can see is one thing. Being that person and listening and actually taking it on board is even more difficult. And Himanshu, as I won't say being hounding me, but he's messaged, he's WhatsApped, he's messaged, Facebooked, and emailed and done everything, and he's been an unbelievably cordial, very upstanding chap the whole way through it.
Right.
At the same time, funnily enough, that he was going through this, I had a guy send me an email and then send me a WhatsApp message, and because I didn't reply to him, sent me a horrible email. It wasn't a horrible email. He just said, you talk about motivation. He didn't come back to me within 5 minutes after sending it to you. So I think part and parcel what I think that we've got to offer, and talking about SeedCast, which by the way, SeedCast, bosh. Look at that. It's seamless entertainment. And the reason why that I thought that and I think this is positive is because we can look at a perspective. You've got a very your mind is on growth and production and making sure that there's very little fat left over and everything's getting eaten, the whole cow's getting eaten, and you're picking your teeth for the bones at the end of it. And I think that we as recruiters, we spend so much of our time doing stuff that doesn't actually end up with anything. But along that timeline, there's so many positive interactions that you can have that can benefit you moving forward.
But that's the point. It's understanding the value today and understanding the value tomorrow. And sometimes you don't know what the value is until you start, right? So in the world of business, in any competitive tender situation, there's only ever two winners, right? There's the guy who wins the deal, the company that wins the deal, and the company that says, we're not going to waste time on this, we're going to do something else. Everyone else loses.
These are subjects that we can talk about, but this is very much what our SeedCast is going to be like, how do you get yourself in front of the right person to have that conversation? How do you get all your cards in front of the person that you need to be in front of for when the chips are down? You need to get a job, because so many people message me and go, Anthony, you need to find me a job. I need a job. And I'm like, well,
it's not just getting in front of the person. It's lost time, wasted time, right? It's making that decision of, I'm not going to apply for that job. There's the when you're hungry, you'll eat anything kind of philosophy. Well, no, that doesn't work when you're trying to find a job. So it's about, don't go for 5 interviews, go for 3, but go for the best 3 that you're the most chance of getting, that you want to do, and use the time that you would have spent on the other 2 for better effect, to better prepare and all that kind of stuff. So it's a kind of, it's understanding your chance of winning and understanding where you want to be, rather than just going, if I go after 5, that's improved my chances of getting a job. It hasn't improved your chance of getting a job. It's just filled up the time.
Yeah, exactly. So and we today was, I'm not sure how long we've been on here for, but today we were intending to not necessarily be on forever, but we're not trying to capitalize out of this financially. If people like us and want to talk to us about businesses and the other stuff that we do, our numbers here. Obviously, we will have the conversation with you. But really, what we want is we want this. Like this. We said today when we're going to come in here, let's just go on there. Let's just have a chat like we would normally do, because this is literally like how we chat, isn't it? I mean, you know.
Yeah, but it's all about, you know, creating. You mentioned networking earlier and how you spent a fortune on coffees for 2 people. Are you losing me again? Am I going all fuzzy again?
Yeah, you're going all fuzzy. Yeah. Well, who's your internet provider? Let's talk about that.
All right, go on then.
Who's your internet provider?
Sky.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I mean, you are sort of going in and out. So I'll just pick up the pieces when it falls apart. This is really good light, actually, isn't it? For me, I've got one of these little round things here. Makes me look younger. Don't you think? I mean, I'm tired because I'm sat in front of my computer for 32 hours a day. I'll tell you what I did see today, John, which is interesting, which you'll love, is a friend of mine's got a real estate agency, and he wrote, "We've got to stop glamorizing people that overwork." Is it that, John? Anyway, I saw this post earlier on. Somebody posted, "We've got to stop glamorizing being overworked." Being overworked? Who's glamorizing it? Look at the state of me. Look, I'm 20, and I've been working in sales. You've come back to us, John. So let's put SeedCast to bed for the evening. So SeedCast is, as you can see here, Tuesday 7 p.m. We will be live on this platform at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. It will be myself, Anthony Baker, and the esteemed John Fuggles. We will be discussing random topics. If you've got anything you'd like us to talk about, we would be happy to talk about it and put it forward. So please. As you can see, I'm in my lounge. One of my trophies over there, British title, I think, trophy. But we will be in this environment, so we will be chatting. We will be just loosely talking about what works, what doesn't work, why it works, and why it doesn't work, and why and how, and the how, why, and then how we get there. So that is SeedCast. That is Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. So moving on from SeedCast, we have. Let me get. These are the things that I put up earlier. Bosh, look at that. Hey, Thursdays, 7 p.m. So this time, every Thursday, we will be running a networking event. It will be through Zoom. So please jump onto any of our platforms and register for it. I think it's through Meetup, and we have it on Eventbrite as well. Please jump onto any of those platforms and discuss. And so we will be offering a networking event. It's kind of in a very similar fashion to what we're doing now, but everybody can get invited onto it. Everyone can jump on. Everybody can come in and see and have a conversation. You know, the idea of it is, I've been doing networking events for a long time. So has John. We are going to put all the positive pieces of all the networking events that we've been to and put them in one place. And, you know, because of our different experiences, John and myself's different experiences, we offer a very different view of how to eat the same cake. And I think that's important. I think it's important for us, for you guys to go and do a networking event and figure out what you want to get out of it. So, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about networking. John looks like his internet has come to an end today, so I'll sort of just truck on until we get to the end. But networking for you, it is designed to be a platform for you, not for us, for you. I mean, obviously we'll get stuff out of it as well, because we get to meet everybody, but it is there for you to go talk to people, meet other people, look for new jobs, look for new career paths, or even just sit there and watch and listen to people talking about their experiences and what they can benefit and how they've benefited from it. I think it's really important for you guys to start looking about what you can do to improve your own situation yourself, as well as what other people like me, John, and so on and so forth can do to grow it. So you should be looking to coaches, business coaches, recruitment people to benefit you in your business. I'm back, been backstage. There he is, private chatting. John's backstage enjoying the coffees and cakes and condiments. Condiments? Can't see you. Can't see you. So you know what, John is a friend of mine. He's become a good friend of mine, and he's become somebody that I do trust and enjoy spending time with. And Can anyone see John? I can't see him. But it's been somebody that I've really enjoyed spending sort of time with. So Thursday evenings, networking for you. It is again, we have a networking for you. So networking for FORU, YOU, and it is designed for networking for everyone. Really, it's not limited to industry professionals, or if you're a recruiter and you want to jump on it, feel free to jump on it. It is not industry specific. We're crossing all boundaries and platforms. So 25 minutes. We planned on 15 minutes, but it kind of got, hey, whoa, hey, there he is.
That's
turn it off and on again?
Lovely. It's really weird. It's really weird. That's very bizarre.
The wonders of technology.
What Sky? Don't buy Sky, everyone. No, so I've been sitting backstage listening. So I'm glad you talked about networking for you, because I was backstage in the green room. Something's gone wrong with my headset. Bizarre. Networking for you. No, you mentioned how people do it and what people like and don't like. I'm sure we've all been to dreadful networking events. I've been to some really good ones as well, but like I said, I mentioned earlier, there was the chap who said he's doing loads more networking events and he's doing really, really well. And when he analysed it, he's actually selling a lot less. So
there's a networking for you logo, by the way.
It is interesting. I'm not
There's
sure.
Lots of people holding hands in a tree shape.
It's Christmassy. I'm not sure networking. Well, we don't have any choice of doing networking online, right? It's not. We kind of don't have any choice, but it's not really geared to it. There's something. We're social animals. There's something about actually looking at someone, meeting someone, shaking their hand, and which a TV screen with all the technology in the world doesn't do. Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's the same thing when people say that their businesses are going to move back into or going to stay or work at home. Productivity goes through the floor. And it's hard. I mean, Mo, who's a friend of mine, he also works for me, and he's a really good recruiter. But it's super difficult for Mo to be the only person sat in the office because he doesn't have the opportunity to work at home. So he's actually in the office, but he's sat there by himself in an office all day, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6:30 at night.
But the chief exec of Marsh, which is one of the world's biggest insurance companies, said he reckons between a third and half of his staff will never go back to working in an office. This is
but you will lose productivity. You will lose productivity. You will 100%, because the people at the top that run the business and don't have time to scratch themselves anyway. Obviously, you have to work and they have to continue doing it. But the people at the bottom who are underperforming anyway in an environment always find other things to do.
Yeah, but that's so the problem then isn't it? Well, so the problem then is measuring people's performance. But I work with people and they're paid to do a job. They're not paid to keep a chair warm. If they're paid to keep a chair warm, we're thinking about them the wrong way, right? They should be paid to deliver a task. I guess some industries are easier to measure than others. If you're in a customer facing role, there's all sorts of KPIs. But I guess we just got to learn to adapt. We should have a whole conversation about the fact that COVID-19 is never going to go away. Oh, there's one to talk about.
Yeah, I'm that will divide, won't it? That will divide people. So networking for you. This is Thursday nights, at 7 p.m. You can see it there in big letters, lovely big letters on the bottom of that. Networking for you, and it's for you guys. And think about it just for you. Don't worry about how it's going to affect everyone else. Consider how it's going to affect you and try to get the most out of it for yourself.
And it's free. There's no, it's all about
for the time being.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, right. So we have got, I think we've done 30 minutes now, which is great. So we have got Networking View, which is Thursday nights. We have also got SeedCast, which is a little bit more of this, isn't it? Going to be, let's be honest, It is more of us chatting about random things and putting our stuff out. But we can also add people to SeedCast on Tuesday night. So if you want to come and be somebody, if you've got subjects you want to talk about, jump on. Feel free, get involved. Let's. Oh, look at that! Do you see that?
Yes, scary. No.
And let's so on that note, we're going to bid adieu. John, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. I look forward to chatting to you soon. Hopefully we get some feedback. The one thing that I find about what we do as a business is feedback. Because now you can just press a button that's got like a little like. I watched that 10-minute video. They spent 2 hours preparing. You click that like button.
There was a moment in the history of LinkedIn where I just sat there and went, no. And that's when LinkedIn implemented like things. And really, if business people haven't got the time to get involved in a conversation, there's no hope.
Exactly. So but these are stories, these are conversations we will have as we move forward. So I'm going to crack on with my evening, try and get my work done for today so I can actually, spend some time with the family. They're probably all sitting down wondering where I am. That is not the case. But anyway, have a good evening, guys. Lovely to see everybody. Peace out.